How you doing? How you feeling? Have you enjoyed the tournament so far? Is
Immensely.
it a good one for you?
Yes. Betting-wise, not so much. In play, not going well, crazy comebacks. But I think it's been an unbelievable tournament. We saw the biggest upset in history of the sport as far as the tournament goes. You've had great drama. And you've also had, I think Friday, in terms you wrap it all together, the games and the betting standpoint, was a top 5 day in the history of the tournament. No hyperbole.
Especially like the Friday night session was
there you go.
Absolutely A+, tough to beat.
Right. You saw history. You saw how many big tickets cash. Everyone loves the first to 10 and first to 15, and they kept coming in.
I'm telling you, Pauly, this is taking over, especially like out here when there are thousands of people up and down the strip at any ballroom or sports book across the entire city. And I was listening to VSiN on Saturday. Vinny Maiulo, who has been a longtime odds maker here, has been at the South Point Gone Gaming for a long, long time. He actually said on the air that he thinks the first to 15 prop is the most popular prop out of the entire calendar year. And I don't doubt him because based on, I went out Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I watched at home yesterday. So I was at 3 different spots across 3 different sections of the city. And every single time, first to 10 to first to 15, the entire place, at the South Point, thousands of people, no exaggeration, all rooting, going, everybody had the dogs, and they were all getting there on Friday.
Yeah.
It was chaos.
Yes. And then also you had Friday, Iona, the Gauchos, and Kennesaw State all led at halftime.
Kennesaw
State blew it, but you're right. But and then Xavier comes out and they look unbelievable. So how about you?
Yep.
Your thought, how's it going? No buzzer beaters and no overtime games.
No overtimes.
I know. There were so many the last couple of years.
Yeah, like you, it's been more enjoyable to watch than it has for my bankroll. Thursday, okay. Friday, Saturday, train wreck.
Yeah.
Awful. And the futures went bye-bye. A lot of the props that I bet went bye-bye. Yesterday, in the morning, afternoon, then started to hit a lot of the bets. And then I gave some of it back on the night sessions have killed me so far. So last night was not great. But overall, the excitement, the drama, it's been... And I do pay attention a little bit to social media. And I see a lot of people that they're trying to message whatever. A lot of people complaining about the tournament. Is it because of the poor shooting? Is it because of the lower scoring games that we had?
That's it. Yeah. People bet what they want to see.
Okay.
So when unders go 14-2 in a day, and unders start out 30-10, and the first round was 24-8 to the under, that's why people start crying.
Yep.
Because people bet what they want to see, which is overs and high-scoring games, and that's the three-point shooting has been abysmal. You'll speak to that in a second, but there's no way you can look at this and say, not that good of a tournament.
No,
we've covered everything. We got for the third year in a row of 15s in the Sweet 16. You got Fairleigh Dickinson, right? Shut it down right there. Largest ups ever with 23.5 points. You got the big boys are still left, and you can't cry if Kansas, the line was only 4. So everyone knew Purdue was fugazi, and the Big Ten stunk again every year. But Kansas is only laying 4. You're up 12. Close out.
Sure.
Win the game. Don't blow that game.
Win the game.
Don't let Arkansas kill you on the board. So
we only have 2 1s left, and we only have 2 2s left. On the left side of the bracket, the 2s combined to win 1 game. Marquette goes out early.
God, yeah.
That line was way too fishy to me yesterday. And I had to bet Michigan State anyway. Marquette should not be laying 3.5 points, and I did bet Michigan State, so I can say that. The whole time, I'm like, Shaka Smart is laying 3.5 points against Tom Izzo in March. And I thought, and I said this all last week, I watch a lot of Marquette games being from that. I never bought into Marquette this entire year.
No, listen, I know the run with VCU, but you have to look at the overall body of work.
Oh, that's a long time ago now.
He's getting hammered in the tournament.
He is.
He is getting hammered, and he did a great job in the regular season. They won the Big East title in the conference tournament, but my God, man, come on. And then again, it's Izzo, the opposite.
Yep.
It just doesn't matter who he has on his team and what seed he is. 15-1 to win the region looks juicy. They beat USC. And then, with that guy, what is he, 24-7 with 1 day to prepare?
Yeah.
Come on.
And I love that. I love that quote that made the rounds yesterday that he tells his players. This is so good. Tom Izzo, I guess for years, has been telling his players, you win game 1, I'll win game 2. That is just
that's a flex.
That's phenomenal. That's
a good
Gene
flex.
Hackman and Hoosiers is what that is.
Yeah, right.
Seriously.
That's good.
So I'll prepare. It doesn't matter. I'll get the matchup. We'll break it down. I'll tell you what we're going to do, the turnaround. But 24-7, they were a 7 seed. The Big Ten completely flopped again. But look at this. When the carnage is cleared, and we're talking about like I Am Legend stuff here. One person's left in the Big Ten. It's Michigan State, of course, because that's the only team that could be left from the Big Ten as they flop, all over their faces yet again. So here's the note on the 3-point shooting overall. This is from Josh Dubois from the AP. If you go back, since the 3-pointer was added in 1987, it is the worst 3-point shooting percentage in the tournament through the first 2 rounds ever in the tournament. 2013, 2012, 1997, and 2001 were all still above at least 32%. So far in 2023, it's 31.2%.
Now, there's several reasons for this. Number one, people want to bet overs. So the books are going to adjust the totals because they know what the public's going to do. Number two, teams are struggling from 3. Also, though, very important, they are letting them play. They're not calling a lot of fouls. So a lot of this rough business, and this stuff is letting it slide. So that means you're not getting the free throw shooting, you're not getting the bonus early, and then contested shots, and they're not calling anything.
Yeah.
That's also happening.
Yep.
So, but
no, I look. I mean, again, it hasn't been pretty so far. The tournament's been awesome.
Right.
Tournament has been. If you complain about this, then we can't help you because it's a 15 seed in the Sweet 16, like you said, 3 consecutive years. We're going to bitch and moan now because the one has been beaten 2 years since like 2019.
Yeah.
Ever 2 years ever it's happened. Come on.
The hell with him. The hell with Matt Painter, the Big Ten, and that's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
We knew Purdue was a fraud. But the other thing, I can't believe Princeton, a wire job, like never in doubt against Missouri.
Yeah.
They got a great look. That was good for in-play wagering. They were getting wide open looks every time down the floor. Like, what is Missouri doing? And then, this team is Adam Hill owned it on Twitter, but I agreed with him. They weren't anything special in the regular season. They were lucky to win their conference tournament.
Sure.
And then they come out and they're awesome. This tweet says it all. Until 2021, only 115 had ever made the Sweet 16. Now it's happened 3 times in a row.
Yep.
3 years in a row after Gulf Coast did it years ago. Now you've had Oral Roberts, St. Peter's, and Princeton.
Yeah, and that's 4 now since 2013 when it was Gulf Coast.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think this is the new world, though, of college basketball and the March Madness, yeah? Where this is never going to revert back to what it was like for the first, 30 years when they went to 64 teams. It's never going to go back to that.
If you were watching games Thursday and Friday, and maybe even Saturday with Princeton, and you found someone who wasn't a college basketball fan and sat them down in front of Fairleigh Dickinson in any game, or Princeton, and said, tell me the seed. Who's who?
Right.
You cover up the name on the jersey and you don't look at a resume, you can't tell these teams apart.
If you sat down with a person who was watching college basketball for the first time all year long and they don't pay attention to the sport and you said, which team is favored here today? They look up at that Princeton game against Missouri and say, well, clearly Princeton must have been laying 4 or 5 in the game.
Right.
No, they were a huge underdog. They were a 15 seed.
That's right.
Yeah. And there were plenty of examples of that happening.
Yeah.
And this is why it's never going to change now. We're never going to go back again. It's only going to be like this. Or some version of this probably every year moving forward. If you look at the left side, we actually have some normalcy on the right side of the bracket, but the left side of the bracket, the average seed on the left side is 6.25. There's a 15, there's a 9, there's a 7, there's a 6. It's total bedlam.
Florida Atlantic is not a surprise. They're 33-3.
No.
Purdue was awful. Princeton's a big surprise. That should have been Arizona. But other than that, I'm not surprised what happened on the left side. You can't be.
And on the right side, again, the average seed is 3.5. Because look at the top right. Really, you have a 1, 2, 3, and a 5. And then in the bottom, you have a 2, 3, a 4, and an 8. And again, like you said earlier, the reason why we don't have a 1, well, first of all, Kansas blew it, but also they're a 3.5-point favorite over an 8.
Look how short that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as Tripp said on Twitter moments ago, he's like, the makings out here in this is a Final Four region. If we had Arkansas, UConn, Gonzaga, and UCLA in the Final Four, we'd all be like, oh my God, this is awesome.
That's a good tweet. He's absolutely right. Everyone loves UConn, loved them going in. Professional sports bettors had them power rated to the moon.
Yep.
You know anybody who went to bed early last night?
Well, that's
woke up to that finish.
the NCAA has to do something.
Okay. You're going. Yeah, absolutely.
The poor people on the East Coast. I mean, come on. The game started at 10 o'clock your time.
No, if you want to do it Saturday, that's okay. But the Brad Powers tweet: how do you have two standalone games on Sunday, and that game tipped at almost 10 o'clock on the East Coast, and you missed an all-time bad beat and a great game? Yep. Why? How do you run it like this, right?
Yeah, and we'll detail that bad beat coming up here in moments.
Visit VSiN.com to get current odds, listen for free, find showtimes, and download VSiN sports betting podcasts.